want some more? There's more.
No, plenty.
I made it special. You sure?
It's good. I just don't want any more.
Well, that's all right. You know your limit, I'd say. You look so dashing in your uniform. Miss Carson used that very word. She saw you in town on your motorcycle. Dashing, she said. You know May Carson.
Mama, I don't know no May Carlson.
Well, anyway, I just wish your daddy was alive to see you in your uniform.
I hope he's steaming in hell.
Sonny, you shouldn't talk that way on a Sunday.
Why not? Sunday's never made no difference to him. Mama, he cheated on you. Beat you up. Beat me up. Sundays included.
Yes, but he was always a good man. Before you were born, if you could have known him then.
Oh, Mama. Just forget it, Mama, okay?
At least your daddy was killed doing a good deed, helping poor Mr. Meacham with that plowing. Before that big old tractor rolled over on him. Killed him right before your very eyes.
Mama!
I'll never forgive myself for sending you with his lunch that day. Your young eyes to see a thing like that to remember the rest of your days.
Mama, cut it out!
No, it's all right for a son to know. He had a noble character, down deep. He gave it to you, he did. That's what gave you the courage to win all them medals, Sonny. You was born to it, I'd say. You can thank your daddy for that.
That's a lie. That's a damn lie. I've sat and listened to it all my life, and I'm not gonna sit and listen to it no more. You wanna know what happened that day at the Meacham farm? I'll tell you what happened. When I got there with Daddy's lunch, he was crawling all over that Dempsey widow in the hedgerow. Damn it, Mama, look at me! I waited. When she left, Daddy come out and sat back against the tractor wheel in the shade and fell asleep drunk. Mama, you listen to me now. I started up that tractor, and I drove it over him. I drove it over him. And I squashed him like the manure maggot he was. That's right. I killed him. Then I got me a log. And I tipped that tractor over on him so he didn't look like an accident. When they got there, it looked like I was trying to get it off of him. So I don't want to hear no more. But how noble and full of charity he was. Ever!
am so happy for you.
Thought it was about time I made you an aunt.
Of course, I had nothing to do with it.
I still have all the baby things. The next time you come over, we'll go through the act.
Oh, thank you.
Hugh, is something the matter?
I just come from the funeral home. Chief Thomas dropped dead in the steps of the Baptist church 2 hours ago.
Oh, no.
Council members have already been phoning each other. Tried to veto it, but they're bound and determined to make Sonny Butts police chief.
Good Lord.
What the devil are they thinking of? Are they blind? Can't they see what's going on?
I have pushed as hard as I can on this. To a lot of folks, the fact that the colored have been complaining about Sonny just means he's doing a good job.
Isn't there anything we can do about it?
Yes. The first thing you can do is win the election.
Yeah, Louise is right. We got a primary on our hands. Let's not rock that boat right now.
How about that? Chief. Charlie, we gonna get rid of all his junk.
You want me to clear out that old roll top in the back there?
No, I'll take care of that. I don't want you messing in that desk.
Right, Chief. Sonny, I'll be going. And I won't tell you, congratulations.
Looking forward to working with you, Skeeter. Looking forward to it.
You bet. Look, I know a lot of do-gooders around here been bellyaching about certain things. But this says that the council's behind you, and that's good. So you play your cards right, aim where you kick. And you're gonna end up with a lot of political clout around here.
All right. Oh, Skeeter, I've been meaning to ask you, what do you know about Foxy Thunderbird?
Foxy, what about Foxy?
I don't know. He's sort of an odd sock. Has he ever been up to anything he shouldn't have been that you know of?
Foxy maybe has a screw loose here or there, but he's harmless. Hell's fire, if he'd have been more sociable going to church around here, he'd end up your first police chief years back.
Is that a fact?
Oh, yeah. Take care of yourself.
You too now.
Hey, where you been all my life?
Well, I haven't been where you've been. Must be.
Maybe we ought to do something about that situation.
I wouldn't know what to do about this situation.
I can think of one thing real fast.
You do that. Betty? do you want?
Oh, come on now. Big girl like you?
Really now, go away or I'll scream.
No. You don't look like no screamer to me. Looky there. Evening, Peters. Miss Peters?
Evening. What can I do for you?
Well, nothing much. We just got some more word on that moonshine business. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd come on down to the station with us and look at something.
Look at what?
No need to hang you up, Miss Peters. You might as well go along home. You just take a few minutes, Peters, and we can probably clear up this mess for good. You going home now. We drive him home ourselves.
Yeah. You're going now, yeah. I'll be home soon. You drive careful now, you hear me?
Hold it right there, boy. Get in there. Face that wall! On your knees! On your knees! On your knees! Now move! Move it! Move it! Move it! Come on, you want to beat this, Jack? Come on! Move it! We got a customer for you, Doc.
This way. Her. In here. Easy with him. What happened?
We was interrogating the prisoner, and he started fighting. And he grabbed a knife. Charlie had to shoot him.
He was fighting like crazy. Knife and all. It'd have killed Sonny.
Don't think he went crazy on me. Here. Here. Look at what he did.
Get the hell out of here. Wait outside. Marshal, did you fight with Sonny Butts or Charlie Ward? The two officers who brought you here, did you hit Either one of them.
Hands tied. They kept hitting me.
Why did they arrest you? What did you do?
They just picked me up. Started hitting me. Annie. Where's Annie?
I also took down Marshall's dying words, word for word. And those bruises Sonny Butt showed me were hours old.
All right, that's going to a grand jury. I'm going to call a county prosecutor tonight.
Trying to pin this on Sonny Butts in a white community is going to be next to impossible.
I know that.
I expect you do. I hope you also know this could cost you the election.
To hell with the election. I mean it. I don't want it bad enough to shut up and lie down for it.
I think it's time I wrote that editorial. Time the public got a whiff of what goes on in Butt's personal jail.
Mr. Peters, Marshall was murdered because he was colored.
And no matter what happens, I'm going to see to it that Sonny Butts doesn't just walk away from this. He'll pay. I promise you that.
It don't work that way, Mr. Billy. He's gone now. When we's gone, it don't work that way, no how. Gentlemen, I've asked for this meeting because a rumor is circulating around town concerning a certain incident which took place at the police station Saturday night. Because of the wild nature of said rumors, I want to read a statement describing the events of the night in question. Last Saturday night at approximately 9 o'clock, Officer Ward and I approached Marshall Peters on Elm Street, just off Main Street. We wished to question him informally about events which occurred some weeks ago concerning illegal whiskey at his place of business. Peters became hostile and abusive, and it became necessary for us to subdue him before...
Sonny's report sounded very official. There was no use challenging the chief in this area. He had the station logbook and Sheriff Skeeter Willis to back him up. The council even seemed to relish the way he told his story. I forced myself to be patient. Grand jury hearing was coming up. We'd get to the truth then, no matter what Sonny said.
Shut up! We already been inside. You write this about Sonny Butts?
I don't know.
But you ain't gonna print it, Mr. New Jersey editor. You ain't gonna print nothing about this, or I'll blow your head right off your neck. You hear me? All right, now I want to hear you say it. You ain't printing nothing.
Nothing. I won't print anything.
All right. Now, don't you forget, or I'll burn this dump with you in it. You stand there and smell this stinking wall, and don't you turn around. I'll blast you where you stand.
Hugh, have you talked to Bob Blankenship? I haven't been able to reach him.
The liner-type operator at the paper said he had to go off to New Jersey on business.
Tom, I'm going to take your deposition and Annie's over to the county prosecutor.
Would you like me to come with you?
You know, darling, I'm due at a Rotary meeting afterwards. I could be very late.
Well, I'll drive you home, Trish.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye, Tom. You know, I'm concerned about Bob Blankenship disappearing like this. He was going to print an editorial on this whole thing. Now he runs off on a mysterious trip to New Jersey. I hope the Klan isn't getting into this.
Hello? Hello?
Ms. Lee, I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Who is this?
They're going to come out there tonight, Ms. Lee. They're going to burn you out. I don't want nobody to get hurt. You better get away from there tonight. You hear?
Burn us out? Who's going to burn us out? Who is this? Well, it's no Purdy, Mr. McGibbon, but it'll do.
Purdy, eh? You know your shotguns, Miss Lee.
I've shot more birds than you've got whiskers. Better have a box of number 9 bird shot and some 00 buckshot.
Who called? Could you tell?
No, just apparently some woman who's not really wild about her husband's club affiliation.
Double-aught buckshot. You must have some mighty big birds out there in your place.
White-sheeted yellow bellies.
You don't mean to say.
I got these. Thank you, Mr. McGibbon. Will you put it on the bill, please?
Sure enough. You take care now. Well, I'll be.
I wish Billy could see us now. He's probably in the middle of his speech at the Rotary Club. Gentlemen, I'd like you to meet my wife and my sister. My wife is the one with the shotgun.
Maybe their sheets didn't come back from the laundry on time.
It's hard to believe that anyone would do a thing like this.
I know. Feelings run deep around here, Trish. Now they can see that Billy is set on dragging those feelings into court.
Listen, Ellie, you don't have to wait here. Why don't you take the station wagon? I can pick it up tomorrow. Billy will be home soon.
Wild horses couldn't drag me away from here. Listen.
Oh, I'd love to get a good look at who they are.
Melanie, come out and answer the justice of the Klan!
I don't have to see him. That's Emmett Spence.
Melanie! Burn him out! Come on, say, Melanie, you coming out? Or do we burn you out?
South.
Throw your bag in the back. Hop in.
Trish and Billy Lee gave me a personal tour of their new home. Mighty handsome place. But my pleasure was dulled a bit when I realized the grand jury hearing that was coming on us could jeopardize all Billy's hopes for the future.
You're afraid that Trish's double-barreled support may be offset by the grand jury hearing?
Touchy business, Billy. You're poking around in people's feelings, things nobody's even thought about for generations.
Well, maybe it's time we got him out in the open. You know, this isn't a matter of race, Mr. Hugh. It's a simple case of right and wrong.
You know this whole grand jury hearing could backfire right in our faces, don't you? Skeeter Willis is backing Sonny Butts all the way. I just heard that Emmett's daddy, Hoss Spence, is on the jury.
Good. Let them draw the lines. At least people are going to see which side of that line I stand on. I'm not going to turn my back on murder. You know, sooner or later, enough people are going to take their conscience into the voting booth with them. If this is the year, I'll win. And if it isn't, well, I'll still be right.
That's fine, Billy. I'll walk with you. What was it old Tom Paine said? These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, flinch from service. Hope you realize your biggest crisis is tomorrow night at the Tri-Counties Fair.
Oh, right, the pie judging. Oh, I better not forget my bicarbonate.
I have seen elections won and lost on the basis of how the candidate judged the pie contest. Billy, you should never have gotten yourself into such a thankless position.
The hand that rolls the pie crust rules the world.
Imagine Sonny Butts showed up at the fair looking for a way to forget his problems with that grand jury. By the time he got there, I expect he'd already tried to drown his troubles in a pint of moonshine. That's dangerous fuel.
Breakfast, he likes it so much. And we got one boy up down by the light of the moon. It's a little scary, you know. Strange phenomena here. We got Jackson Hill, just a half man and half woman.
You're going to see it all on the inside. See these girls, Kimmy and Jake, while they even walk and talk. So come on in. Bring your friends and neighbors. You girls come in. Maybe you can find something. Who knows? Come on in and see the beautiful things.
Now, this is tough. Really tough. The peach is absolutely outstanding. Not only that, but I understand it was baked by the secretary of the Women's Democratic Committee. But in spite of that, I'm going to risk my entire future and pick the sweet potato.
Just a minute. Wait a minute. I want you to know that my husband only has one vote in our house. And I would like to ask our runner-up for the recipe for the peach.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if Billy can ever be elected governor or not, but she surely can.
Leave me alone, you're drunk.
That's right. Give us some action here.
Stop it! Get away from me! No! Daddy, help me!
that, Sonny.
Resist and arrest.
Buns. Listen to me. Get out of here, go home, and you stay there. You're all finished now. You hear me, Buds? Now clear on out of here. Right now.
All right, everybody, now it's all over. Now, go on, clear out. This is nothing to see. Go on.
Get a doctor for him.
Then I want to talk to your carnival manager about pressing charges, okay?
Billy. Telephone the commander of the state police. I want them in town tonight. There's no telling what that crazy fool might try next.
Sonny Butts was nothing else. He was a fighter. He must have stayed awake most of the night concocting some story to explain his behavior at the fairgrounds. But he surely wasn't prepared to find a state patrol car parked in his place at the police station the next morning.
Charlie! Officer Ward won't be in this morning. I'm Dave Barker from Headquarters Post. I'll be taking his place today. Who says? Well, I think it was an order from the governor's office, Chief. By the way, Mr. Hugh Holmes called. He says you're to be at City Hall at 12:30 sharp. He wants you to wait in the city manager's office till he's ready for you.
same time, the grand jury hearing was going on in the Greenville courthouse on Marshal Peters' death. Skeeter was there only as an observer.
I saw Marshal Peters on the night in question, just before 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
But Horace Spence was a member of the grand jury. He had a real influence in the outcome.
Yes, sir. He got the Bronze Star in Italy.
What was his business since returning home from the war?
He owned a garage. I mean, we was buying it. He was an automobile mechanic.
Now, Ms. Peters, I want you to tell us exactly what Chief Butt said when he approached you and your husband at your car.
Well, he come up to us all friendly-like. Then he started talking again about that moonshine business they cooked up about Marshall.
Ms. Lee, you saw Marshal Peters on the night in question, just before 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Marshall and Annie were in my shop. We're open late on Saturdays. Marshall wanted to buy Annie a dress.
Did you detect the odor of alcohol on Marshal Peters at any time?
No, sir, I did not. None whatsoever.
Chief. Chief! Capitol Police on your line. Some guy in missing persons wants to talk to you.
Yeah. You called us a while back about missing persons, remember?
Yeah.
We get hundreds of them here, but I thought this one might be in your neck of the woods. This kid's folks think he might be headed for Florida. If he was hitchhiking to Florida, he'd have to take Highway 41.
Yeah, probably.
There's no other road. That'd bring him right to you. You'll probably be getting a bulletin on this, but I thought I'd phone you his description just in case.
Yeah, go ahead.
Harvey Charles Mix, age 16. Height 5'9", weight 135. Reddish blonde hair, green eyes. You got that?
Yeah. Much obliged. Got it all. You better believe it. Trooper! Stand up when your commanding officer's talking to you. You stand up! You call His Majesty Hugh Holmes. You call him and you tell him to get ready. You tell him to get the parade ready. I want a band waiting out there in front of City Hall. The parade will go right down Main Street. You got that? Right. You tell him that's an order from Chief Butts.
Sonny Butts rode down Main Street that morning as if he was riding in a parade, leading a parade. Must have felt he was only a little way from victory. I expect it's possible Sonny'd somehow lucked onto an answer to those unsolved murders from 20 years back. A stroke of luck that would put him beyond the reach of anything I or the city council or any grand jury could do about it.
Pieback, you were an inmate in the Delano jail on the night in question?
Yowza. I use in there Saturday nights.
tell us exactly what you saw and heard, Pieback.
Well, it's just like Sheriff Skeeter there and Chief Butts say. Marshal was yelling, fighting, just like they say.
Hey there, Foxy. What you planting there? You just hold it. Right there, Foxy, baby. I told you I'd drop it on you again. Let's see what you're planting here. I'll be damned. How many more of these young fellas you got planted around here, Fox? Huh? You always said you wanted to help. Well, let me tell you something, Foxy, baby. You and that shovel just dug me out of a hole deeper than this one. You just saved my neck, old buddy. Yes, sir. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't just win me the Nobel Prize.
Did all you could, Billy. Why would that poor old colored man lie like that?
I suppose old Pieback is such a fixture in that jail after all these years. He probably figures anything Skeeter Willis tells him to say is gospel. Oh, it's ironic. I guess Sonny Butts miscalculated the skill of his friend the sheriff, taking off like that before the council even had a chance to fire him.
Do you think he'll come back now that the grand jury cleared him?
I don't know. State Patrol went to his room. He didn't even take his clothes. They'd find him, about all we could charge him with is stealing a city motorcycle. I had to say goodbye to my old horse right here, a long time ago. Dapple. Saddest day of my life. Feeding her a carrot.
Well, we should have this fence repaired, or we'll be saying goodbye to the next horse we get, too.
Polls close in half an hour. We better get ready for a house full of people pretty quick.
I rather prefer it empty.
All right. Not all the news is good. Sheriff Skeeter Willis has been reelected. As for the state senate seat, formerly held by a humble servant, I regret to say that final returns from the Tri-County area show that you are all in for a sorry political experience. You're all just going to have to grin and bear it. Stand here like good soldiers while we listen to all the boring cliches of a victory speech from our new state senator, Billy Lee.
Come on. Come on. Well, I just figured if you're going to start sleeping with a state senator, it ought to be in the new house.
Now, sleeping with you has already gotten me into trouble. I say,
what?
If our son is ever elected president of the United States, do you think it'll go down in history that he was conceived in a trailer?
Well, no. You be careful now. They're going to be wanting this mattress in the Smithsonian one day. Come on.
In 1962, several police chiefs had come and gone in Delano. The town had changed, too. The death of Marshal Peters, disappearance of Chief Sonny Butts, both faded into memory. Sooner or later, everything does. Billy Lee and Patricia still kept their home in Delano, but by then Billy was spending most of his time in the State House. Mother Carrie passed away 2 years before, but not before she saw her son elected lieutenant governor of the state. Billy was going to run for governor. I knew that. But there were things brewing in Washington that made me believe that his future might be even brighter.
Morning, Hugh. Oh, you're up early.
My age, you can't afford to sleep late, Billy. I keep setting these state board meetings earlier and earlier, hoping I'm going to miss one.
That'll be the day.
Well, aren't you going to tell me about it?
Tell you about what?
I had my spies in this state house when you were in short pants, Lieutenant Governor. I'm talking about the letter you got from President Kennedy.
Well, nothing earth-shaking. He just said he wanted to congratulate me on the readiness of my Air National Guard unit during the recent missile crisis, et cetera, et cetera.
You read between the lines, Billy. They got their eye on you in Washington.
Well, you let me know if your spies uncover anything.
Yeah, of course, I know you got more important things in your mind, far beyond the scope of little old Delano.
Save your breath, Hugh. I'm working on it. In fact, John Breen, chief of police here, is stopping by with a couple of resumes. You may have your new police chief after all.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, Breen's probably already here. Come on, we'll see what he's got. Oh, sorry to keep you waiting, Chief. You know Hugh Holmes?
Mr. Holmes.
Chief Breen.
Long time. Labor Day parade 2 or 3 years back.
You've got a good memory. Have you got us a police chief for Delano yet?
Well, I wish I could say no. By that, I mean, I wish I could have him myself.
Just one candidate?
Oh, one's all you need when you have qualifications like that. This Major Watts is A1 material. I'd hire him myself.
I can see why. How come you didn't?
Well, we have a policy of promoting from within. Major Watts there's frankly overqualified for anything I could offer him.
Outstanding record. Military police?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's stationed at the Army base out here. Retiring early in the month. Well, Lieutenant Governor, I've got to run. I've got a meeting across the way in 10 minutes. If I can be of any further assistance.
Thanks for your help, Chief. I'll be in touch.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
You know, I've got to go out to the base this afternoon and clean up some National Guard business. I could call this Major Watts, ask him to come out there and meet me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if he's as good as this looks, you ought to nail him down before he gets away. I could set up a council meeting Friday at 4.
Done. I'll see if I can get Major Watts to go peaceably.
Billy Lee was the ranking officer of our Air National Guard, but I was still convinced that note from the president was some kind of early political signal. At my age, you develop an intuition about those things. Also, at my age, you tend to get a little careless. I should have known Chief Breen was just a tad too obliging in Billy's office. Should have known he wasn't trying to make life easy for us.
Lieutenant Governor Lee.
Yes?
I'm Tyler Watts. I take it Chief Breen forgot to mention that the overqualified major he was recommending was a Negro. Oh, you're damned. I certainly hope not. Hop in.
Well, since you'd be the first black police chief, maybe you should be interviewing me.
Well, I've commanded white troops before.
We have 6 policemen. I guess a couple of them think they're cowboys.
Well, I'd want to have complete authority to hire and fire. Any of you cowboys related to a city councilman?
I don't know, but you can ask. How's Friday at 4 sound for a special council meeting?
Well, that sounds fine. You might tell them I'd like to take a look at the department budget. If it's too lean, I'm dead before I start.
Sounds reasonable. You know, as far as I'm concerned, your record speaks for itself.
That may not be enough in Delano. Am I right?
I hope you're wrong. I really do. But every town has its own ghost, I suppose. My father was the first police chief in Delano.
Yeah, well, Chief Breen mentioned it. He was killed by a black man, I understand, in the line of duty.
Yes. It was a tragic set of circumstances, and very few people understood at the time. It still sticks in some minds. Then after the war, a black veteran was murdered in the Delano jail by Sonny Butts, a returning hero who'd become chief by default. I tell you all this, Watts, so you'll be forewarned. In Delano, it's not just as simple as black and white.
Well, I appreciate your candor. Shall we say Friday, then?
governor, how did he seem toward you?
He was fine. He didn't call me boy once.
I don't think that's funny, Tyler.
You're right.
Why Delano, of all places?
Well, at first I called it coincidence, but now maybe it's fate. Hey, look, they might not even give me what I want.
You sure Mr. Lee didn't recognize you?
Not a chance. All us Chinese look alike. You know that.
I'm afraid.
Why?
Because all we need is for sooner or later somebody to walk up to you on the street and go, "Hi, Joshua." Oh, I mean, think about it. Now, what would we do if it got out that Chief Tyler Watts, the law in Delano, is really sweet, lovable little Joshua Cole, whose daddy killed the lieutenant governor's own father?
After 40 years, I was still chairman of the council. I didn't always get my way, but I always got my say. When Friday came, I asked Billy to cool his heels outside while I tried to, as the Bible says, temper the wind to the shorn land.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lee.
Major.
Hot day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. You know, if all this goes well and you do take up residence, we'll probably be calling each other by our first names, and maybe we ought to practice. Tyler?
Well, if you don't think it's premature, Billy. I wasn't sure whether I should wear the uniform.
Why not? What are your qualifications? Looks good.
So far, so good, eh?
You're not nervous about all this, are you?
Well, not if you're not.
Then we both are.
Yeah.
It's not too easy, is it? Standing on the brink of history?
Is that what this is?
Oh, I agree absolutely, Tom. The man's record's extraordinary. I'm delighted by the unanimous enthusiasm you've all indicated. I can only assume that this enthusiasm will not be diluted when I add one additional fact. Major Watts is a Negro. Nowadays, some folks are starting to say black. Well, that's fine. The word is black. The job is police chief. Black police chief. Now, while y'all are still stunned by the sound of that, let me tell you why the sound of that's exactly what Delano needs. Gentlemen, we are striving for enlightenment here. Well, let me enlighten you.
Delano's grown a lot since my father was chief here.
I would imagine.
I'm afraid, however, that one section of town hadn't changed a whole lot.
Those sections of a town seldom do.
They call it Braytown after old Idas Bray, who owned most of the real estate once. You'll have your share of problems there, Tyler. If you're too easy with the blacks, your men will resent it. If you're too tough, well, then the blacks will accuse you of being an Uncle Tom.
You're assuming I'll have a chance to work it out.
Well, Hugh Holmes practically built this town. I'm assuming he's still pretty good at laying bricks.
Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Holmes says you and the gentleman can come on in now.
Well, that's a start. I've never heard Claude call a black man gentleman in my life. Good afternoon, gentlemen. 38 years ago, in Delano's first city hall, my father, Will Henry Lee, came before the city council to be sworn in as your first chief of police. If he were here today, I know he'd be proud. Just as proud as I am. To introduce you to Major Tyler Watts.
Have a chair.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your help, Alex.
Congratulations, Major. Well done.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Of course, you're aware not everybody's going to applaud what we did here today.
Well, I'm not counting on applause, just a little patience, maybe.
Oh, by the way, unless you have other plans, I have a house I believe you might like to show your wife.
Oh, it's fine. I'd like that. I'll give you a call next week.
Good luck to all of us.
Drive you home, Hugh?
No, thanks, Billy. I believe I'll walk through town. Enjoy that.
Well, thanks for coming down, Chief.
Well, I guess I can say now, it was a pleasure.
Joshua.
Jerry gone and Ellie married and living in New York, I was just getting to think that Sunday dinners at the Lee home weren't what they used to be. Even their son, Will Henry III, was away at school. But the New York Times sent someone to liven up one particular Sunday. John Howell, just been named to their Southern Bureau. With Billy Lee a more than likely candidate for governor, he made the Lee home his first stop.
Well, if you gentlemen will excuse me. Glad to have met you, Mr. Howell.
Mrs. Lee.
And when you finish discussing affairs of state, the management cordially invites you for some peach cobbler in the kitchen.
I'd like that, thanks.
Good.
I think you've made a good impression on the management.
You have just been offered the most coveted bribe in the entire state.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
This is the farm where Billy was born. Used to be good cotton land.
I believe that's called down-home color, right?
Something like that, yeah. Now, I thought I was being transferred down south, but this weather here is really more like New York. I think that's called small talk about the weather. I understand the president sent his aide, David Cass, down to see you.
Oh, I think he came to see the governor, who happened to be out of town.
Now, it's been my experience that the president's people know pretty well in advance who's in town and who isn't.
Dave Cass is very astute, I'll say that. I bought him a cup of coffee.
He must have liked the coffee. He's the one who suggested I talk to you just as soon as possible.
Oh, well, I'm pleased to hear he thinks I'm worth a long Sunday drive.
Think it might have something to do with 1964?
64. In what respect?
I hear the move to dump Lyndon Johnson is gaining ground, and that could create quite a vacuum.
Lyndon can create an enormous vacuum just by walking out of the room.
I think Lyndon Johnson has been a tremendous asset both in the campaign and in the vice presidency, and I expect he'll continue.
David Cass predicted you'd say that.
I told you he was astute.
You were a good friend of Roosevelt's, weren't you, sir?
I was an unshakable admirer of FDR and completely convinced he was ruining the country.
Say, if you're looking for news, there's something coming up that might interest the Times, but you'll have to hold it for a week or so.
Yeah, it's good enough to hold. It's too good to keep, they say. I understand. Otherwise, I get to read it first in the Capital News, right?
You?
Well, this may not be earth-shaking news outside of the South, but there's this Negro Army Major, Major Tyler Watts. Well, Tyler, you talk it over with Miss Watts. If you're interested, just drop by and see me.
My life might be in danger if I let you drive off with those keys to the house.
Well, can't have our police chief's life threatened. Just to be on the safe side, maybe I better give these to you.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes, they gave Tyler a retirement party last night. You got a gold watch, and I got a new set of garden tools. I think these will sort of make life complete.
Good. It might interest you to know, Elizabeth, that I have never once sold a house to a husband. Well, I best be moving along. I'll have those papers drawn up and send them round.
Well, I'll be in touch, and thanks again.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
I mean that. Purely my pleasure.
Well, let's go.
I'm not leaving.
She's not leaving. Don't ask me. Ask her why she's not leaving. They want to know why you're not leaving.
I'm not leaving because this man, Tyler Watts, has hauled me all over the world. Different set of walls around me every 18 months. I've got a home here now, and I'm staying. At least until we paint that back service porch. Oh, I want to leave our mark on it. I want to feel as though it was ours. Drive into town and get some paint. Please.
My first day in civvies, and I'm outranked by a pushy, crazy lady with a new set of garden tools. Okay. Okay.
Tyler,
Yeah?
if you should want to bring your mother back with you, what should I call her?
Well, I call her Aunt Nellie.
Nice car you got here. You wouldn't have stole it now, would you? Hey, I'm
talking to you, sport. Out of the car. Come on.
What for?
As I told you, that's what for.
That's not a good enough reason. I wasn't speeding, and you don't have any reason to believe I committed any crime.
How about this? Is this good enough reason for you? Now, out of that car.
Why don't you ask me for my license and registration?
Get a better idea, sport. You just button your lip and get back in that pretty car. I'm gonna pull out, and you're gonna follow me back to the station real easy like. And we're gonna decide whether you own this buggy. I clocked you doing 55 in a 35 zone.
Bull.
You mouth off one more time, I'm gonna blow a hole in you. Now you move it.
You better know it, baby. Hold on. Hey, Tub, what you got there?
Speeding, resisting arrest, maybe stolen car.
Listen, honey, I gotta go. Keep your motor running. You in?
Okay, boy, empty pockets. Come on, everything out on the table. Come on. Everything, come on.
Okay, high roller, what's your name?
My name is Tyler Watts. But you can call me Chief. According to your records, you've all had military experience. That's good. Since it's clear that none of you know the first damn thing about police procedure, we're gonna run this department for the time being as a military organization. Just pretend you're back in the service and I'm your commanding officer. And if that doesn't work, just pretend I'm God. Understand?
You.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir!
Strickland, you were an orderly room clerk, right?
Uh-huh. I mean, yes, sir.
Good. I want you to make out a duty roster. I want one man in this station to handle the phone and radio and 2 cars in motion at all times. 8-hour shifts, 30 minutes for lunch, and no coffee breaks. And anybody who calls in sick had better be in the hospital. I'll be back at 12 noon. I expect to see that roster posted and this dump looking like an orderly room. Understand?
Yes, sir.
You're Murray, right?
Newton Murray, sir. Everybody just calls me Tub.
I can see why. Well, you're gonna lose that name and the flap that goes with it, Murray. And one more thing. I want you to get rid of that .44 Magnum you've been hauling around. The standard firearm on this force is a .38 service revolver with a 4.5-inch barrel and no pearl handles. One last thing. Starting right now, you're all patrolmen, no seniority. I'll decide on your performance who gets promoted. Any questions?
Lieutenant Governor William H. Lee, a likely candidate for governor with a reputation as a moderate in racial affairs, denied that the selection of a black police chief for his hometown of Delano had any political overtones.
Not at all. In fact, when Chief Green recommended Major Watts to us, he said he regretted he didn't have a top caliber job open for the major himself. I'd say their loss is Delano's gain. I was extremely proud to recommend the major to the city council.
The White House press office issued a statement today commending the Delano City Council for its action. Surely the first time the White House has taken note of the hiring of a small-town policeman.
Well, now you're on the TV. You're famous, Billy.
More news after this.
So is John Wilkes Booth.
It'll set well with the faithful. We just have to wait and see how it goes down with the undecided.
I bet Jackson Rollins is going to make an issue of it every hand he shakes.
That's right. Close as this is, if Tyler Watts puts 1 foot wrong.
You may well be the state's most famous dairy farmer.
This is all of them, Chief. Boy, nobody's gone through these old files for years.
Well, it's time we weeded them out. Well, let's start with Chief Lee. If they're still there, I want to see them all before you throw them away, okay?
I wasn't even born.
It'll be an education for you.
Hello? Anybody home? Say, who the hell's on duty here?
Hi, Sheriff. Chief, this is Sheriff Skeeter Willis.
Sheriff, Tyler Watts.
So I hear. Come do you a favor, Watts. Yeah, you got a prisoner here by the name of Teddy Wilkes.
Yeah? He's doing 10 days for drunk driving and destruction of city property.
That's the boy. I want him on a liquor charge.
Do you have a warrant?
Well, I guess you didn't hear me. I'll tell you what you do. You just trot him on out here, and I'll take him off your hands.
Well, if you can show the justice a piece of warrant, you'll probably reduce the sentence to time served. And you can arrest him.
You're getting cute with me now.
I can't release Wilkes without the JP's okay. You'd be taking him out of here without a warrant, and if you got a conviction, he'd be able to overturn it on appeal as an improper arrest.
Now listen, boy. I don't care how long you was MP. You're doing business in my county now. And I just might go out of my way to show you what that means.
Sheriff Willis, you're welcome here anytime. But anytime you want to take somebody out of my jail, you better show me some paperwork. That's how business is run in my jurisdiction.
You don't mind my telling you, Skeeter's been around longer than sin. He ain't gonna let that pass.
Thank you, buddy. But speaking of paperwork,
What Tyler Watts was really looking for in those old files was any sign of his own arrest record. A young black boy named Joshua Cole caught stealing a ham years before. But in those boxes of old papers, there was also a single clear mention of the name Foxy Funderbuck.
you're looking a lot better, Newton. You stay away from those cheeseburgers.
Sir, I'm having dreams about cheeseburgers.
I'll tell you what. You lose 10 more pounds and I'll buy you a cheeseburger with everything on it.
Everything with lettuce. I'm beginning to purely hate lettuce.
Okay. Hey, what's that up there?
Oh, it must be Fox's place. Old Coot's always burning off brush.
We better take a look.
Oh, that's out of our territory, sir.
Just write it up as a hot pursuit. Now, you want the fire department, mister?
No fire trucks. Come on, get out of here. I can handle this. I said get out of here. Ain't your territory, nigga. Get the hell out of here.
Well, I guess there's no real danger. He's not what you might call neighborly, is he?
Oh, he just don't want a bill for the fire trucks. He's out of the city, they'd send him a bill. He just don't want to pay, that's all.
After we appointed Tyler chief, everything seemed to go smooth on the surface. But there was an undercurrent of small things I didn't like.
Look at this. I've gotten at least a dozen passionate invitations to speak. Women's clubs, union meetings, everywhere but right here in my home state.
You know, I don't believe I'd go make a speech in Wisconsin while Jackson Rawlins is riding his bandwagon through your backyard.
He is running strong with the segregationists. There's no doubt about it.
I got an idea Rawlins and Skeeter Willis are trying to dig something up on Tyler. Skeeter's had the state patrol running checks on him.
What do they expect to find?
I already found out that Tyler is Nellie Cole's nephew. Did you know that?
No. Well, so what? He's probably got aunts and uncles all over the place.
Remember back when Skeeter and that Sonny Butts cooked up that moonshine charge on Marshal Peters just after the war? That Skeeter is a crafty man. He can surprise you.
Maybe I ought to surprise Skeeter Willis first. You know, John Howell's been asking for another interview. I think I know just a place we might take him to lunch. On Skeeter.
Oh, yeah, that's fine, Billy, but you just watch your step. I wish Tyler told us about his Aunt Nellie.
You find something?
Picked up Joshua Cole today for taking a ham from Roughton's grocery. He said taking, not stealing. It's just like Will Henry.
Your deep, dark criminal past.
The JP gave me 10 days, cleaning the streets.
Now, don't tell me that's kept you awake nights.
No, it's just one of those fly specks on the past like to get rid of. No use having people asking a lot of questions about Joshua Cole at this late date.
Honey, I thought you said they charged you with accessory to murder after your father killed him.
Well, Daddy wouldn't plead guilty until they dropped the charge against me. I guess he figured it was the last thing he could do for me before they executed him.
What is all the rest of this stuff?
Let's see here. It's funny.
What?
Some of Will Henry's old records were mixed in with papers belonging to Sonny Butts. He's the chief that rode off into the sunset on a police motorcycle.
Oh, they probably all just got thrown in the same box.
No, I don't think so. Sonny Butts seemed to be interested in a case that Will Henry was looking at. Missing kids. A couple of murders way back. Really? There's some bulletins on missing boys. Let's see here. An undertaker wrote a description of one of the dead boys for Will Henry. Some mention of handcuffs. And there are some initials here. FF, order the handcuffs. Written in one hand, and then somebody else wrote under it, Foxy Funderburg.
Your friendly firebug?
Yeah. I wonder what old Chief Will Henry found interesting about him.
Mister. I better be getting along before dark.
Plenty of time. Just take me a minute to feed the dogs. Hey, while I'm doing that, how about a nice tall glass of lemonade? Wet your whistle. And I'll drive you back down the junction. How's that, lad, eh?
Okay, I guess.
Let's take it. Come on in.
When Billy said he wanted to take John Howell to lunch on Skeeter, I had an idea he was talking about the county prison farm. I wouldn't have said it was the safest or wisest thing to do just then, but I wouldn't have missed seeing that guard's face when the lieutenant governor drove through his gate.
Thought you might like to sample some real Southern cooking, John.
Well, I can't say that I recognize any of these delicacies.
I don't believe I want to.
Butter beans and fatback.
Well, Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Holmes, this here's quite an honor. Captain, we were driving by. We thought it might be just about your lunchtime.
Well, now, why don't you all have lunch with me? Be pleased to have you.
This is fine, just fine. Tell me, what's your daily food allowance per man, Captain?
$2.30. Of course, that's averaged out, you know.
Well, then I expect the boys here must be having T-bone tonight. Looks like about 15 cents worth to me. Well, we'll find a table, and you can join us. We'll talk about nutrition, things like that.
Fetch yourself a plate, Captain.
There wasn't an awful lot went on in Mainbridge County that Sheriff Willis didn't hear about right quick.
Comes. 11 minutes and 40 seconds. He must have a building antenna.
Takes a good picture.
Sheriff.
Skeeter? Billy, if you won't come visit my camp, you do let me know first.
Oh, Sheriff, have you met John Howell of the New York Times? He's here doing a long piece for the Times on county governments.
The Lieutenant Governor thought it might be a good idea to start with your camp.
Ain't no call for this. No call at all.
You know, I was talking to a fellow from the Justice Department recently. They're starting to take a keen interest in Southern law enforcement these days. Well, get yourself a plate, Skeeter. Join us for lunch.
Greytown had always stayed something of a mystery to most of the white folks in Delano. To be honest, I guess Tyler Watts was the first policeman who ever considered it a real part of the town. He hadn't heard of any trouble in Greytown on the police radio, so must have been something of a surprise to find a patrol car parked there.
Don't!
I already paid him more than that stuff costs.
You ain't paid the carrying charges, Hawkins. Now you gonna come up with the money, or am I gonna beat it out of you?
Don't.
Now you go wait in your car, Patrick. I'll handle this. What's going on here?
We don't want no trouble.
We bought a stove and some stuff from Mr. Cox in town.
All paid for. We paid regular.
He keeps sending a policeman around here for more money.
It's all paid up. I keep track. It's all paid up.
All right. Just take it easy now and explain the whole thing to me.
Mr. Cox, he keeps changing the figures.
And we ain't the only ones. That policeman comes regular.
I'm sorry about that back there, Patrick. I had to try and make it look good.
Deadbeats.
I'm afraid it didn't work, though.
Huh?
They're gonna file charges, and I'm afraid they can make it stick. They've got witnesses.
Now, look, I just go by what Mr. Cox tells me.
Yeah, I know, but I saw their papers, and Cox has got you up to here in a shakedown extortion racket. Hey, you're in a spot, Patrick. I don't see how I can keep you off the county farm on this one.
What are you gonna do, kill me? You know what they do to a cop on the county farm.
Look, I'll tell you what. It's just my work. Now, why don't you drive back to the station, type up a resignation, and sign it? I'll see what I can do about the Hawkins folks here.
Yeah, okay, sure, you got it.
If you see Mr. Cox at the store, you'd better tell him I can't protect him if this happens again.
Okay, yeah, right.
Billy Lee sure to run for governor, and John Howell of the New York Times kept a weather eye on our town's politically fascinating police chief. He and Tyler Watts became good friends. As a sort of a friendly gesture, Tyler decided to stir up a quiet Sunday for Howell by showing him the records on those mysterious unsolved murders from years back.
So neither of these murders were ever solved? There's no record of it. Both missing kids, like all the other missing person reports. You talked to this Funderburg? Well, he had a little fire up there, and I went up to see what was going on, and he practically kicked me off the place. He put out the fire himself.
How come?
Out of my jurisdiction, he said.
Justin County? I hear that's going to be Bobby Patrick's jurisdiction now, right? That's the cop you fired for extortion.
Cop that resigned, that's right. And nobody's opposing him, I guess. He's got such a sterling police record. God help Justin County.
Look, Chief, don't let anything happen to this, like a little fire, all right?
Not a chance.
Look, if you get anything recent on this, let me know. I've got a friend in the FBI office in the Capitol.
So you're the only one who knows about this so far. I'd like to keep it that way.
Okay, come on now, Pieback. Easy now.
Hey, here we is.
Yeah.
Looks like church is wearing off. You got a customer.
Hey, that's you? I know you. Remember me? Old Pieback. Long time ago. I know you.
Go along. That's old Pieback. He's a regular customer. I gotta start heading back.
Thanks, Tom. Anytime. We keep open house.
Time went on, those old police files became a continuing obsession with Tyler Watts. He started asking questions around town. When a police chief asks questions, well, people just naturally start wondering.
What'd you do to Chief Watts, Foxy? He keeps asking about you. You spit on the sidewalk or something?
Big shot nigger trying to rile up the town. Yeah, keep it. I'm not trading elsewhere. Just keep it. Hell with you.
Some of the merchants seem to think that you're conducting some sort of investigation of Foxy Funderburg, Tyler. Do you suspect him of something?
I don't have any evidence he's done anything wrong.
But you think he has?
I'd rather not say right now.
Very well, but we mustn't forget the fact that, for better or for worse, Bobby Patrick was elected sheriff of Justin County last month. That's where Foxy lives. Now, if you think you got something on him, you're going to have to go through Bobby Patrick, hard as that may seem. I know you don't like him.
Outside of the fact that he's a crooked cop and an extortionist, I have nothing against him.
Then you will grasp the real nature of our problem, Tyler. Billy Lee's announcing for governor tomorrow. Now, there are some people going to try their damnedest to make him look bad. Skeeter Willis, for one, I think Bobby Patrick as well. Just waiting to trip you up. Now, if they can make it look like you're simply harassing a peculiar old bird like Foxy, most of the blame's gonna blow back on Billy Lee. Do you agree?
What did you expect? Good conduct medal?
I expected just what I got, reprimand.
Well, maybe Mr. Holmes is right.
Of course, he's right.
And again, maybe he isn't. Tyler, the truth is going to come out sooner or later.
The truth is, I'm a retired Army officer in a two-bit civil service job. The New York Times was following me around. I was a star, and I liked it. So I started imagining things. Give me something big, really big. How about some long-forgotten murders? Ta-da! Strike up the band. Here comes your black knight on a white horse, riding to the rescue.
I wouldn't start acting like a cartoon just yet. What if Billy Lee's father was onto something?
The white horse, I just remember. I once told Billy Lee when we were kids that I wouldn't sell his horse. It's clear as yesterday. If I wouldn't sell his horse then, I sure won't help shoot the critter out from under him now.
As soon as the September primary election was over, Tyler Watts was sure he'd cost Billy Lee the governorship. Billy'd won the primary, but only by the thinnest of margins. Not enough to discourage Jackson Rawlins. He said he was going to run as an independent in the general election. A three-way split with the Republicans in November meant that under the law, the governorship would be decided in the House, where Rawlins and his segregationists had a clear majority. Tyler couldn't get those notes out of his mind. He studied them night and day, trying to put all the facts together. He was looking for something to make himself an asset to Billy instead of a black mark against him. He needed something dramatic, and he needed it fast.
Tyler, I thought Mr. Holmes told you to forget about all that.
He told me to be careful. You're looking at a man who's being careful.
I'm looking at a man who's getting carried away.
I had Buddy Bartlett assemble all the missing person reports on young males. And look, I even made a map. Delano. It's almost in the center where all those kids were last seen. And look, they were all white, yeah, but look again. They could all be members of the same glee club or the same basketball team.
Okay, so you have a nice collection of pictures of white boys.
2 white boys were murdered. Probably tortured, even handcuffed and beaten with a hose, a police trick. It's all there in the old reports from Will Henry Lee.
Ancient history.
Foxy Funderburg is still on the mailing list of a police equipment company in the capital.
He wanted to be a police chief once. You made it a hobby.
The man kicked me off his property. He was afraid I might find something buried underneath those leaves he was burning.
Or was it because you're a black man wearing a badge he figures should be his?
This is the latest missing kid. Clearwater, Florida. Last seen in this area, but according to my phone calls, never seen outside this area. Look, even that guy, Sonny Butts, suspected Foxy. And who knows what happened to him?
It's not enough for an arrest.
It's enough for a search warrant. I'm gonna go see Judge Green, Justin County, tomorrow.
No, wait. Don't you think you should wait until after the election next week?
It's the election I'm thinking about, Liz. If this thing is as big as I think it is, they won't need an election. They'll carry Billy to the governor's mansion on their shoulders. Hi there, you from around here?
Nope.
You won't like it if I have to pump you, son. What's your name? Where are you from?
James Falta, Minneapolis.
Long way from home.
Longer the better.
Well, I don't suppose you take too kindly to advice, but I'm gonna give you some anyway. Either you go back home or you get where you're going, but don't hang around here. You got that?
I ain't done nothing wrong.
Good. Because I don't have the time to bust you. You keep moving here.
What the hell's the matter with you, boy?
I clocked you doing 56 miles an hour in the school zone. I see your license, please.
I'll teach you. Spill my milk, you dumb-head nigga. Come here. Now get up off this floor. Boy, don't you know who I am? I'm Hall Spence.
As long as you know who I am. Let's go. Johnson, book him. Let him make his phone call and lock him up. And if he gives you any trouble, cuff him to the bars.
Chief. Holy mackerel.
You know who that is?
Yeah, he told me.
It's Hoss Spence. He's a big cheese around here. He's got a ton of friends. I mean, he's trouble.
Look, yeah, thank you, buddy, but get that camera out of the cabin and take some pictures of my face for his friends.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yes, Hugh, I'm aware there's an election Tuesday, but if Tyler arrested the old bastard, then jail is where it belongs. The press? Well, I'll tell him that Hoss Spence has been a bully and a bum all his life, and that my wife shot his son in the butt with a shotgun 15 years ago for trying to burn down my house. Well, it's good to hear you laugh about it, Hugh, in the face of adversity. Keep smiling. Right, I'll talk to you later.
What was that all about?
Chief Watts just cuffed and jailed Hoss Spence for beating up on him with a hog cane.
Beautiful. It is. It's beautiful. beautiful. Maybe it's time I got out my shotgun again.
You gonna wish you was never born, nigga. Arresting my daddy.
Shut up, Emmett. I'll take my cane back now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spence. But that cane was used as an assault weapon. It's evidence.
Ain't you learned nothing?
I don't think I was talking to you.
Yeah, well, I'm talking
Shut
to
up,
you.
Emmett. Let's get out of here. Place got a peculiar smell about it.
Yeah, we get rid of that smell. You ain't heard the last of this, nigga.
I got business in Jefferson County with our friend, Sheriff Bobby Patrick. I may be gone for the afternoon.
Right. Just keep your hands right where they are.
What's going on?
Stay out of this, fella. You're under arrest.
What charge?
Assault and battery. Felony warrant. Now, finish. You can remember that the prisoner had this banged-up face when I arrested him, can't you? You can see that, too, can't you, Bartlett?
Yeah. Listen, I think you're making a big mistake, Sheriff.
Just let me worry about that, son. You better be able to chew what you bite off in my county, boy, or I'll damn well see you choke on it.
Sheriff Skeeter Willis was a master of timing. He'd arrested Tyler Watts on a Friday afternoon. By the time the news reached Billy Lee in his campaign headquarters, it seemed already too late to do anything. We had a general election coming up the next Tuesday. Skeeter had a whole weekend to do some real harm to Billy's campaign. Maybe even real harm to Tyler Watts.
No, Sheriff Willis. I'd like to interview Chief Watts tonight, if that's possible. All right. The New York Times would like to. Okay, great. First thing in the morning, then. Sheriff, wait, excuse me. Sheriff, do I understand that you refuse to let me talk to him? All right, great. You talk to the judge, and then I'll talk to you. Goodbye.
Too late. Judge Hill's gone.
That's just great.
Sheriff Willis is stalling. Says he's got to talk to the judge first, right?
He's also lying. Judge Hill's left for the weekend, fishing. Steve could find some reason for killing Tyler before Monday.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't think it's that serious.
Don't be too sure. Get me Colonel Simpson of the State Patrol. Right now, I wouldn't give you even odds on Tyler's longevity. Hello, Jim. Billy Lee. Look, Jim, I need a favor. Well, there's a judge, Bert Hill, of Mainbridge County. He's out on the road somewhere.
Back off. Turn around. Hands behind.
All right, Deputy, let's go. All right, I'll take over.
Where are you taking me?
I ain't taking you nowhere. Just move along. This way.
I asked you, where are you taking me?
Deeds, boy. I ain't taking you anywhere. You in the process of escaping.
The raid's over, Skeeter. This is a release order for Tyler Watts. Take those handcuffs off him.
Can't be no proper release order. Judge Hill's out of town.
Sergeant, serve the sheriff with this release order signed by Judge Hill. If he hesitates to obey it, arrest him for obstruction of justice.
Lee, you're overstepping your bounds.
We're transferring this prisoner for his own safety.
Yeah, I know. They're searching your taxi now. Come on, Tyler.
Got 4 pistols and 2 illegal sawed-off shotguns. Run them in. Mason, go inside and get the rest of Chief White's uniform and his weapon.
I was worried half to death.
So was I.
Now, Buddy Bartlett said you were on your way to Justin County. That have anything to do with, you know, the matter you and I were talking about?
That's right.
So does this change anything?
Yeah, before I was determined. Now I'm mad. No matter what happens with the election Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm gonna make my move.
3 men arrested in the parking lot behind the jail were released yesterday by a Superior Court judge. Sheriff Skeeter Willis of Mainbridge County, asked about the incident, had this to say.
My office will not be bullied or intimidated out of performing our duty. This is the second case we've had down here of this so-called police chief harassing elderly white citizens.
The sheriff's reference to a second incident of harassment referred to a Delano area citizen, Francis Funderburk, a noted dog breeder.
We wouldn't be having this problem if this Negro police chief hadn't been forced on the community by Billy Lee just so he could get the colored vote. It's as simple as that.
But Jackson Rollins, Lee's independent opponent in Tuesday's upcoming election, contacted at his campaign headquarters, had strong reaction to the incident.
Well, it's no secret that I've stated time and again that the lieutenant governor has used his office improperly in this election. He's bought himself a sinking boat with this Negro chief there in Delano, and he'll try anything to keep himself afloat right now.
Lieutenant Governor Lee was unavailable for comment on this latest furor surrounding the hard-fought governor's contest, in which recent polls give him only a slim lead over Rollins. More news and the weather after this.
That was the longest election night I can remember. If you're running for governor in this state, you've got to get 1 vote more than half for a clean win. Otherwise, the House of Representatives picks between the top 2 men. It's clear that Jackson Rollins and the Republican had each taken a big enough piece of the pie to keep Billy from getting that magic 51%.
Mr. Rollins, if these projections hold, it looks like there is no clear winner tonight. Now, what does this mean?
What it means is the clear winners are the people. The so-called liberal handsprings the lieutenant governor's pulled have failed it. People of this state have turned him away loud and clear. The election will now go into the House, and in the House, I'll win.
Now, Billy, you are not an easy man to shoo into office for an old bird like me. You're going to have to change at least 5 votes in the House. It's a lot of hard work in the telephones.
I think we can do better than that. Are you up to some flying, Hugh?
Who's tired, Billy?
No, Patricia. A little nap, I'll be good as new. Tomorrow we go flying. That Rollins gonna beat us. He's gonna have to shoot us down.
Who sent you in here? Is this some sort of joke? Now I want you to take yourself, turn around, and march out that door, take you and that Billy Lee, and throw you both in jail.
Hey, listen, Tyler, that is the most fun I've had since I took office. Foxy and Judge Green have been like that for 30 years. Listen, anytime you get another one of your sideshows together, why don't you just shuffle on down here and give us a laugh? You think you can wiggle off the hook with Skeeter Willis with a load of bull like that? You're crazy as they say on TV. You may be the big mammoo with all the colored in Delano, but if I catch you bothering white folks like Foxy in Justin County again, I'll help Skeeter with the tar and feathers. See you, boy.
My
said it was urgent.
I'm on my way to the Capitol to raise a little hell.
Oh, come on. I heard about that Sheriff Patrick business yesterday. You forget that. Forget it.
I called you because you said you had a friend with the FBI office.
Yeah, right.
Now, this just arrived.
It's a missing kid report. Is this one hot?
So hot it may already be too late. James Fulton, Minneapolis, red bandana, cotton man. I talked to him on the road.
When?
Friday. You want to help me get a warrant?
Are you kidding? You're back, sir.
Billy and I had no idea what Tyler and John Howell were up to. We were too busy barnstorming the state in that airplane, scratching for votes. Fred Mitchell was one member of the House I'd marked down as doubtful.
I just don't know. I'm getting a lot of static around here about that colored cop shoving people around in Delano, Hugh.
Freddie, you know damn good and well Billy didn't comment on it because it is beneath comment.
Not around here, it isn't. People have been commenting about nothing else. Look, I can't stand the sight of that Rollins. You know that, Billy.
All right. I'll be just as candid with you about Tyler Watts, Fred. I think he's a first-rate police chief, and I'm not backing off an inch on him. Now, I know that may not be music to your ears. We've had our differences, but now, you've always known that what I say on Monday still goes on Friday, and I'm not going to change it now.
Good enough. On one condition. There's no more ruckus over that chief until after we vote.
I want a search warrant from a federal judge, and you can get it for me.
I'm a federal agent. Murder is not a federal crime.
But depriving someone of their civil rights is a federal crime.
Wait a minute, I know what you're getting into. You're talking about a piece of 100-year-old legislation we're using to help cops down here to get convictions of whites who are murdering blacks.
Convictions? I'm a local cop who can't even get a search warrant for somebody who's murdering white boys. My God, do these boys have to be black to even have civil rights?
Ted, if they were black, you'd be afraid not to go for a warrant. You'd be accused of a white cover-up. Now, come on.
All right, I'll ask for the warrant. But there've got to be some conditions. First, Agent Carr and his men are not to do any digging. They're not to do any tearing up of floorboards, none of that business. Second, you, Chief, may not even speak to this guy, Funderburk. You're an observer on this. Thirdly, you, John, may not even go near that search site unless actual evidence of a crime is discovered. Got it?
What good is a search warrant if we can't search?
Look, I'm way out on the limb on this already. You're going to have to take it or leave it. Now, what's it going to be?
All right.
Okay, Carl, you get over to the courthouse. I'll call the judge. Chief Watts, find something.
Well, what do you have to... You feeling all right?
Tyler and John Howell just gotten a federal warrant to search Foxy's place.
Foxy's place? What the Sam Hill is going on at Foxy's place?
Tyler's been poking around out there for some little time. You know, Billy, if whatever they're up to goes wrong somehow, this could cost you the whole ballgame.
Well, they must know what they're doing. John Howell isn't one to dive headfirst into an empty pool.
What's he doing here?
Mr. Funderburk, Chief Watts is with us only as an observer and to help us search.
What's this all about? What are you looking for? That nigga ain't coming in my house.
I must warn you, Mr. Funderburk, if you resist this search,
I'll arrest you and you're liable to be jailed for contempt of court. Please understand, sir, we just want to do our jobs and leave you in peace. Now, please, step aside and let us come into the house.
Violate my privacy long enough. Is that it?
Mr. Funderburk, can you explain why you keep a policeman's uniform in your closet?
Absolutely. Ain't no law. I mean, years back, I was supposed to have the job that nigger's got now. I was cheated out of it. Ain't no law says I got to burn a uniform.
We'll only be a little bit longer, Mr. Funderburk.
Come on, this is a waste of time. Let's back down here. You're on the other side of that grove. Hey, Corey, did you find anything?
No, not yet, sir.
I'm sorry, Watts, but without a lot more manpower and a lot more authority, I'm afraid we just about had it.
I know they're here. They're all here someplace.
You wait here. I'll go tell him.
Done everything we could, Chief.
It's a graveyard. I can feel it.
We apologize for any inconvenience we may have caused you, Mr. Funderburk. I'd like to thank you for your cooperation.
Fine, that's just fine. Now you get out of here. And you take that nigger with you.
What did you do?
I tripped over that piece of pipe sticking out there.
What'd you do, break something?
Almost.
That's no pipe. This is a motorcycle handlebar.
Tyler, watch it!
I guess you're in charge here now, Chief. I'd say we better get some men and machinery in here.
Well, John? Yeah.
Mr. Holmes, Mr. Lee. Open up. Sorry you were hurt, Tyler.
It's the line of duty.
My God. Some of them must have been in the ground 30, 40 years.
We found Sonny Butts, our long-lost police chief, buried with his motorcycle.
I believe I'll go home now. Leave this to the experts.
Dude, take it easy. Easy does it.
I've worked most of my life. 50 years to give this town a name, and now every time it's mentioned, it'll be for this. All those young boys, poor boys. It's going to take a lot of good men to make this place decent again. Well, that's about how I remember it all. I didn't leave anything out on purpose. Oh, yes. Billy Lee was elected governor by the House. Like everything else in life, I guess, there's no great loss without some small gain. One thing I've never told anybody before, though. It's why Tyler Watts showed up at the Lee home a few days later. I guess you could call it unfinished business.
Hello, Tyler.
Hello. And congratulations. I thought I'd come by and pay my respects to the new governor.
By 2 votes. I think he should congratulate you.
I'd hate to think that it took the bodies of 43 young boys to get 2 votes.
So would I.
Yes, well, anyway, I see you're busy working. I won't keep you.
Oh, just sprucing up the garden. President Kennedy called, said he wanted to stop in and see Billy on his way back from Dallas.
Well, no.
Billy went to see the horses. You'll probably find him back there. Go this way if you want to.
Thanks.
Tyler, Hugh Holmes said it would take a lot of good men to make things decent around here. You're one of them.
Don't worry about old Dabble, Billy. I'll take care of him. That's a promise. Just between you and me.
He likes carrots. See that he gets a carrot every day?
Even if I have to steal one.